Today I'm sharing 4 projects you can sew for your dog.
These sewing projects are so fun and great gifts for dog owners. Let's jump into the first project.
The first project is a cute dog bandana.
This bandana is the cutest accessory for your dog. It's easy to make and it's also reversible. The bandana slips right over your dog's collar, making it super easy to wear. Download the free templates at the link in the description below. This bandana comes in 5 sizes for small to large dogs. It's going to print on 2 pages, so just trim off the dashed line on one of the pages and tape it together. Cut out the size you want and then we'll collect the rest of our supplies. This project requires just a little bit of scraps. You can get 1/4 yard cuts or even use fat quarters. So we'll need one for the main and one for the reversible side. This is a reversible bandana, so pick 2 fabrics that you love. Cut out one from each fabric. If you want, you can fuse lightweight fusible interfacing to the back of one of these fabrics for a little more stability. Now place your fabrics right sides together. We're going to sew across the top with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now flip that open and press, and then we're going to top stitch along one of the edges, catching the seam allowance underneath. At the sides, fold under 1/4 inch and press. Do this twice so you have a clean finish. Stitch in place really close to the edge of the fabric, and then repeat on the other side. Once you've done that, we're ready to fold the bandana over, matching the bottom points. Pin along the raw edges. Now we're going to sew along the sides, starting at the finished side edge. Pivot at the point and sew back up to the other side. Backstitch at the beginning and end of your stitching lines. Then clip the seam allowance near the point. Turn the bandana right side out through the opening. Use a chopstick to get the points turned and then press it to get the edges flat. Now we're going to make a casing for the collar to go through. This will be done at the top of the bandana. So first use a chalk marker or fabric pen to draw a line about 2 inches from the top of the bandana, right where the opening of the bandana starts. I like to pin along that and then top stitch over that line. Now you have a casing that you can thread your collar through, and your bandana is all finished.
Next, I'm going to show you how to make a dog poop bag dispenser. This is a little keychain that clips onto your leash and holds a roll of dog poop bags. It also has a hole on the other side to dispense the bags one at a time. Print off the templates from my website. You can find the link in the description below. For this project, you'll need scrap fabric, a 5-inch or longer zipper, a 3/4 inch swivel hook with a D-ring bottom. These are also called lobster claw clasps, and lightweight fusible interfacing. Start by cutting out 2 dispenser sides, 2 zipper sides, and 1 tab piece. These should all be backed with interfacing before we start sewing. We're going to start with the zipper pieces. Pin 1 zipper side face down on the zipper, lining up the edge of the fabric with the edge of the zipper tape. If your zipper is long enough, put it in the middle of the zipper tape so you don't hit the zipper pull while you're sewing. Pin that on and sew as close to the zipper teeth as you can. Now repeat with the other side of the fabric, making sure they're lined up on the zipper tape at the same place. Open up the fabric and press. Then top stitch along the fabric about 1/8 of an inch from the seams. To create the tab, fold under 1/4 inch on the long edges of the tab piece, then fold in half to match up at the folded edges. Top stitch on the edges 1/8 inch from the folds. Fold the tab around the swivel hook to create a loop. Pin the swivel tab to the bottom of the zipper and baste it in place with the edges of the tab hanging over about 1/4 inch from the other fabric. Trim off the excess fabric and excess zipper tape. Now set this side of the dispenser to the side. We're going to make the dispenser opening on the other side using our 2 dispenser pieces. Pin both of the dispenser side pieces together with right sides together. Use your pattern piece to draw lines where we're going to sew. Use a fabric marker to draw where we're going to sew our lines. This will give us an opening for the bags to come out. Sew the pieces together along the lines, backstitching where the stitching meets the opening. Now when you fold those pieces back, you can see that there is a hole in the middle of our bag piece. Top stitch around that opening if you want, about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Now we're ready to assemble the dog bag dispenser. Place the dispenser side face down on the zipper side. Open the zipper enough to be enclosed within the bag. Make sure the swivel hook is also safely enclosed. Now pin the bag together at the sides, top and bottom. We're going to sew along all of those straight edges, leaving the corner cutouts open. Cut off the excess zipper and trim down your seam allowances just a little bit. Now we're going to give the bag dimension by pinching the corners. With the bag still inside out, hold it up and pinch the corners so that they are perpendicular to the side seams. Sew along the pinched edge 1/4 inch from the raw edges, making sure to backstitch at both ends of the stitching. Repeat for all 4 sides. Now flip your little bag right side out through the zipper opening. Insert your roll of bags and you're ready for a walk. The next project is a Snuffle Mat. The Snuffle Mat is a fun enrichment activity for your dog. It makes a game out of eating and helps slow them down. The templates are available for download on my website and include a circle version and also a cat-shaped version. First, use your base template to cut out 2 layers with a sturdy fabric such as canvas, duck cloth, or denim. Use interfacing to the back of one of these fabrics and then sew them together with right sides together. Leave a small opening for turning. Trim off some of the seam allowance and then turn right side out and press well, especially along the opening edge. Top stitch around the mat 1/8 inch from the edge. Cut out strips of fleece 4.5 inches wide. You can use as many colors as you want for this. Now fold the fleece in half. You can either pin the folded edges to the mat or the 2 raw edges together. For the version shown here, pin the loop side down onto the mat. For the one I'm making in the video, I'm gonna pin the 2 raw edges down instead of the fold. That way I'll get a loopy mat with more spots for the food to hide. Sew it around the outside edge of the circle until you meet back where you started. We're gonna make a spiral leg pattern all the way to the middle. After you've sewn one strip, pick a different color and keep going, starting right where you finished your first strip. Keep going until you get to the middle of the mat. Then clip the fleece every inch or so to fan out the layers. Clip most of the way down to the bottom of the mat, leaving about 1/4 inch unclipped at the bottom of each loop. Now sprinkle treats or kibble in the mat and let your dog go to town. And finally, I'm going to show you how to make a dog collar for any size dog. This dog collar is adjustable and you can use any fabric and hardware to make it extra fancy. Use the pattern piece available on my website or the measurements listed below to cut out a collar for your size dog. There are 6 sizes available from extra extra small to extra large for any type of dog. Start by folding your fabric in half and pressing to create a crease in the center. Then fold the raw edges into the middle. Press to hold and then fold in half one more time to create the strip for your dog collar. Press well and then top stitch along both sides of the length of fabric 1/8 of an inch from the edges using a straight stitch. On one end of the collar, press under 1/4 inch. Then fold over the collar again about at 1.5 inches. Slip the hardware and D-ring onto the collar. Check your clasp placement by wrapping the collar around how it's going to finish, just to make sure you have everything in the correct spot. Now sew these layers together with a rectangle, backstitch for a stronger hold. Slide the strap adjuster onto the other side of the collar with the collar fabric over the slide's crossbar. Clip the other half of the buckle together and slip the collar into the other side. You'll come over the top of the buckle and into the middle of the collar. Now slide the end of the collar back through the slide adjuster as shown. Press under 1/4 inch on the edge and then clip the folded edge about 1 inch past the buckle and sew. It's easy to get mixed up when sewing this collar, so make sure before you sew that everything is in the right place. Clip the threads and your dog collar is finished. Thanks for sewing with me today. For more tutorials, click above.